A man left for dead in the freezing wilderness fights to survive against nature, betrayal, and his own pain. All for one purpose: revenge. But when the moment comes, will he take it? Watch till the end to find out. The movie begins with Hugh Glass and his son Hawk, who are part of a group of fur trappers. They are sneaking through a forest, hunting animals for their pelts. This story takes place in the 1800s in North America. During this time, many people from Europe, the Old World, are coming to North America to take resources like animal skins, land, and more. Because of this, there are many fights between the indigenous people, the Native Americans, and the Europeans. One day, the trappers' camp, led by a man named Henry, is attacked by a group of Native American warriors called the Arikara. Hugh Glass runs back to warn the others, and they all quickly get onto a boat to escape down the river. Only a few trappers survive and manage to get away. Since Hugh Glass knows the area well, he is hired to guide Henry and the other trappers to safety. Glass suggests they leave the boat and walk through the forest to reach their base at Fort Kiowa. One trapper, Fitzgerald, does not like this plan. He thinks Glass' ideas are dangerous and could get them all killed. But the team still decides to follow Glass' plan. Henry, their leader, tells them to hide the animal pelts in a safe spot before traveling to the fort, which is far away. Fitzgerald keeps complaining about Glass. He even insults Glass' son, Hawk, who is half Pawnee. Despite Henry trying to calm him down, Fitzgerald doesn't stop. Meanwhile, a group of Pawnee warriors is searching for Pohoa, the chief's daughter, who has been kidnapped. They follow clues like traces of a campfire and head north. The next day, as the trappers continue their journey, Glass walks into the woods alone. He sees bear cubs near a tree. Suddenly, the mother bear appears and attacks him to protect her cubs. The bear bites and claws him badly. After a while, she thinks he is dead and walks away. Glass, however, grabs his gun and shoots the bear. She charges at him again and knocks him down. He pulls out a knife and stabs her many times. They both roll down a hill, and the bear finally dies. But Glass is badly injured and barely alive. His team finds him and tries to help. Henry gives him some first aid, but the injuries are so serious that they think he won't survive. They start to discuss leaving him behind. At the same time, in the Pawnee camp, a French trader comes to meet with the tribal leader and starts to negotiate with him. The Pawnee chief asks the Frenchman for horses and guns to help find his daughter. In exchange, he offers them animal pelts. After checking the pelts and seeing they are stamped, making them less valuable, the Frenchman tries to negotiate. Finally, he agrees and gives the chief 5 horses. Meanwhile, Henry comes up with a new plan. He splits the group of 9 survivors into 2 teams. One team goes ahead to scout the area, while the other team follows behind, carrying the injured Glass. Glass lies on the ground, badly hurt, with his son Hawk always by his side. In the cold morning, the group slowly carries Glass on a stretcher through the snow, heading to their base. But the freezing weather and Glass' worsening condition make everything harder. The team is tired, and Fitzgerald suggests they should end Glass' suffering by mercy killing him. Henry refuses to kill Glass himself. Instead, he decides to pay 3 men to stay behind and take care of Glass, including Hawk. Jim Bridger, a young trapper, agrees to stay, even if he doesn't get paid. Fitzgerald also agrees, but he demands $300 as compensation for the pelts they had to leave behind. Before leaving, Fitzgerald promises Henry he will look after Glass until he dies and give him a proper burial. As Glass lies there, he starts to remember happier times with his family. But those memories soon turn into a nightmare as he recalls the day his wife was killed in a massacre. After Henry and the others leave, Fitzgerald secretly digs a grave for Glass and tries to force him to die. Hawk catches him and tries to stop him. Hawk calls out for Jim, but before Jim can return, Fitzgerald kills Hawk to hide what he has done. Glass witnesses everything, staring at Fitzgerald with hatred. Later, Fitzgerald tells Jim that the Arikara have attacked, and they must leave immediately. Before escaping, Fitzgerald drags Glass into the grave he dug. Glass screams in pain. Fitzgerald then tells Jim to kill Glass himself so that he can leave. Jim, unable to do it, gives Glass some water and leaves with Fitzgerald. Meanwhile, Henry and the others continue their journey to Fort Kiowa. Glass eventually crawls out of the pit and drags himself through the snow, trying to find Hawk. At a tree stump, he finds Hawk's lifeless body. As Fitzgerald and Jim head toward the fort, Jim starts to realize Fitzgerald has been lying. Fitzgerald admits it, but says leaving Glass behind was the right thing to do because he wouldn't survive anyway. While the men continue toward the fort, Glass, heartbroken and alone, crawls onward, determined to survive and seek help. Glass crawls to a riverbank to drink water and figure out how to treat his wounds. He finds a small cave to rest in. Soon after, he encounters the Urukhara tribe. When they chase him, Glass jumps into a fast-flowing waterfall. He survives the river by holding onto a log and eventually reaches the riverbank. Meanwhile, Fitzgerald and Jim continue their journey home. Along the way, they pass a native village that survived a massacre. Jim secretly leaves some food for a woman there without telling Fitzgerald. At dawn, Glass wakes up from a dream about his late wife. He is feeling stronger now and uses a cane to walk. While traveling, he sees a pack of wolves attacking a bison. Later, he spots a Pawnee man, Hecook, gathering leftovers from the wolves' hunt. Glass approaches and silently eats with him. The next morning, Hecook wakes Glass up and they talk. Glass explains he was attacked by a bear and that his son was killed by a bad man. Hecook feels sorry for Glass and tells him not to take revenge because revenge belongs to the creator, not people. Back at Fort Kiowa, Fitzgerald and Jim arrive safely. In Henry's office, Fitzgerald lies, saying that Glass is dead. Jim stays quiet, feeling guilty for leaving Glass behind. When Henry pays them, Fitzgerald accepts the money without shame, but Jim refuses it and walks away. Meanwhile, Glass and Hecook travel together and enjoy each other's company. However, a snowstorm hits and Glass collapses. Hecook builds a sweat lodge to help Glass recover. While resting, Glass dreams about reuniting with his son. When Glass wakes up, he finds Hecook hanging from a tree. The Frenchman nearby killed him. Glass sees the French camp and notices they are holding a young woman, Powaka, the daughter of the Pawnee chief. Glass sneaks into the camp, takes down a Frenchman who was dragging Powaka away, and frees her. When others chase him, he kills one and escapes with a horse. Powaka runs into the forest, while Glass stops to rest. The next morning, Glass is attacked by the Urukhara. He tries to escape on his horse, but falls off a cliff. When he wakes up, the horse is dead. To survive the freezing weather, Glass cuts open the horse's body and shelters inside it. The next day, Glass continues his journey, determined to find Fitzgerald and avenge his son. Back at Fort Kiowa, a scared Frenchman arrives, claiming he survived an Urukhara attack. He brings a canteen identical to the one Jim gave to Glass. This confuses Henry, as Fitzgerald had said Glass was dead. Henry takes his trappers into the forest to search for him, leaving Fitzgerald behind at the base. At night, Henry and his group find Glass lying weak and injured in the forest. They carry him back to the camp, but when they return, they discover Fitzgerald has run away, taking all the money from Henry's safe. Henry angrily confronts Jim, thinking he worked with Fitzgerald. Glass, however, explains that Jim wasn't there when Fitzgerald killed Hawk. Jim only followed Fitzgerald because he was threatened. Now, Glass asks for a horse to chase Fitzgerald and take revenge. The next day, Glass and Henry leave the camp and split up to track him down. Glass finds an old campfire, while Henry gets ambushed and killed by Fitzgerald. Glass arrives too late to save Henry. He places Henry's body on his horse and uses it as a decoy. Fitzgerald sees the horse and shoots, thinking it's Glass. When Fitzgerald comes closer to check, Glass surprises him and starts chasing him. They end up at a stream and begin a brutal fight. Glass gains the upper hand, but remembers Hecook's words. Revenge belongs to the creator. Instead of killing Fitzgerald, Glass lets the river carry him toward a band of Urukhara warriors. The tribe kills Fitzgerald. When they approach Glass, the chief spares him, thanking him for saving his daughter, Powaka. In the final scene, Glass walks into the woods, seeing visions of his wife's spirit. The end. Thank you for watching.